Hello, if you are looking to watch episode 112, you have come to the right place, as this is episode 112 of Oatmeal Breakfast Plays a Video Game, the least watched show on the internet. I don't have any data to back that up. I don't need to look up something that I already know to be true. Sure, I like Oatmeal Breakfast Plays a Video Game, but I am the only one who likes it. It's an exclusive club for people who like Oatmeal Breakfast Plays a Video Game. On today's episode, I try and solve a ksudoku puzzle and complain endlessly about my life. No, just kidding, I don't do that. I mean, I do attempt to solve a ksudoku puzzle, but I don't complain about my life. I don't complain about my life to myself, so I am not going to complain to anyone else. What am I going to complain about? I mean, what am I going to talk about? I don't always want to talk about the same thing. I can talk about podcasts a little bit. I only listen to one podcast every day. It's called Side Hustle School. I like it because it talks about people's side hustles. It has a different format this year than it did for the last 3 years. I have also read the book by the same name. The book was also called Side Hustle School. I liked it so much I read it 2 times. The author of the Side Hustle School book and the Side Hustle School podcast is Chris Gillibo. I have read about 3 of his books. He is one of my favorite authors. I used to read his blog when he was blogging twice a week. I have followed him since about 2010. I like hearing about all the types of businesses people start. It's fun. I like learning about careers. I wish I could do a lot of jobs, but there is only one of me, and there is only 24 hours a day, and I have to sleep for 8 of those hours. I used to listen to Start Talk podcast. That is Neil deGrasse Tyson's show. I have not listened to it in years. I used to listen to it when I was putting the finishing touches on one of my songs. And once in a while I listen to a cybersecurity podcast. It's called the Security Ledger podcast. I have never been a big listener of podcasts. When I was younger, I spent a lot of time listening to the radio. It was mostly sports talk and music. I did not like listening to the radio much, but I kept listening to the radio anyway. It never made me feel that good. I probably would have been best sitting in a quiet room with the radio off. I remember I used to listen to the radio sometimes when I played basketball on my hoop. I could not take quiet back then. Now I wonder, how could I take so much noise? I don't think I learned that much by listening to the radio so much. And I don't think I learned that much from listening to the radio. So now I don't listen to the radio at all. I used to like to listen to sports talk radio in the car while driving somewhere. I don't do that anymore. I like the quiet. Now I try to think about what I learned from. Oh, I almost forgot. I used to listen to old-time radio shows on my computer a lot. I don't do that anymore. Let's see, what radio shows did I listen to? Bob Hope, Burns and Allen, Ozzy and Harriet, Edwin. I am sure I listened to more, but I don't want to go and look. My favorite thing to listen to while I was using my computer was old-time baseball games. I like to hear the old announces. To me, it's always fun to listen or watch a classic sports game. I don't know how many other people like old sports games, but I know I do. I don't listen to any of the streaming services. Well, I have listened to Pandora before. I don't listen to it much. I prefer quiet to a lot of noise now. I have probably listened to an audiobook once. I do remember listening to a Transformers book on tape years ago. I remember the tape recorder I used. I would rather read the printed word than listen to an audiobook. I remember when I was young listening to my clock radio to go to sleep. I think it comforted. I listened to my clock radio for years when I went to sleep. I suppose that I got into the habit of listening to the radio when I was going to sleep, so I kept doing it. I can't remember when I stopped listening to the radio to get myself to sleep. It was a lot more fun to listen to the radio to go to sleep when I was younger. I guess the quiet make me uncomfortable. I could not take quiet. At least I don't listen to the radio to get myself to sleep anymore. I am glad for that. Quiet. I like quiet. I have thought, gee, many I can start a podcast. Then I thought, what would I talk about on the podcast? Then I thought maybe I could talk about radio control cars. Do I ever stop talking about radio control cars? I am obsessed with them. I don't care about full-size cars anymore. I care about radio control cars. I would need to learn more about radio control cars to have a radio control car or vehicle podcast. There is so much that I don't know about radio control cars that I want to learn. Maybe one day I will start a podcast. I doubt it. It might be fun for another thing to try. I like to try new things. And learning how to make a podcast would certainly be a new thing to learn. What else can I talk about? Oh, yes, I want to talk about Faro. I don't know that I have much more today about Faro than I did yesterday. I did not suddenly go from novice to expert in Faro in one day. No matter how much I wish it were that way. I can't wait to make something. I know I want to make a ksudoku game. And a ksudoku solver for that game. So I have 2 projects. And I know I want to read a lot of Faro code. I just have yet to start doing those 3 things. They are not going to get themselves done. It will take me to get them done. So I have got to start. And also want to make a website with Seaside. I have used Seaside a little. But not much. So I have got some projects that I want to get done in Faro. Now all I need to do them. Which I might find ways to not get done. I am hoping for the best. What else can I talk about? So I say a lot that I want to make a video game. And I also say, if I do ever make a video game, I want to play it on Oatmeal Breakfast Plays a video game. I said I wanted to make Oatmeal Breakfast Basketball. Then I thought I want to make Oatmeal Breakfast Boxing. I liked Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! So why not make my own boxing video game? I am not a fan of boxing. Though I have watched a Manny. It's a documentary about Manny Pacquiao. I enjoyed learning about Manny's life. I don't think I have ever watched that much boxing on television. I watched a lot more of WWF than boxing. I have watched some boxing on television. Not much though. And I certainly have never been to a boxing match. And I have no desire to ever go to a boxing match. I do want to make a boxing video game. I am not sure I will be able to make a boxing video game. I will have to give it a try. I will have to believe that I am going to be able to learn what I need to learn to make the game along the way to making the game. Maybe I can make the game with Paro. I probably will end up making oatmeal breakfast boxing with pie game. So it will be a 2D boxing game. I will have to think about oatmeal breakfast's foes. How many boxers will oatmeal breakfast have to box? What will the game look like? It's so fun to think about. How many difficulty leaves will there be? What happens when someone beats the game? So many questionos. One of the reasons I want to learn how to program was so that I could make a video game. I think that it might be good to make a non-game program before I make a video game. But I really want to make a video game. I really want to finish reading making arcade games with Python. I started reading it years ago and have never finished reading it. So maybe, if I finish reading it, I will know how to make a video game by the end of the book. Or do I only want to watch the videos for the book? Now I want to read the whole book, but I might never get that done. But I will give it a try. So who knows what will happen. And I also want to watch the series of videos So You Wanna Make Games. I have watched about 2 videos but never watched them all. So I have got a lot I can use to learn how to make video games. I can't wait to make a video game. Years ago when I first got Blender, I followed a tutorial that used the Blender game engine to make a simple video game. You pushed the directional buttons to make a ball on the screen movie. I thought that was so cool. But I never learned how to use the Blender game engine. And now Blender does not have the game engine anymore. I missed my window. Too bad. I solved the ksudoku puzzle in 13 minutes 6 seconds. Have great night.